Hello, guys, and welcome to a new series here on Ozone Gaming. Today, it's going to be a slightly different series to something that I've normally done in the past. I thought, why not try something new? So, this is a Sims 3 Let's Play as such. I'm not going to do the conventional Let's Play, I really don't find them interesting enough to do. So, I decided that today I would do something that I've seen a lot on YouTube. Often people do these, but I wanted to do my own version of this series and something that really interested me. So this is a Sims 3 building series. I've called it the Sims 3 Architect. I am a really bad builder in The Sims at the moment. I'm not gonna lie. This build is fairly decent for me, but if you do look, it is copied basically from the building to the left of it, so it's nothing original really. It's just something that I took from inspiration that came from the building beside it. So it's nothing good, and I just thought, why not go for something new? I really wanted to do a different sort of series, and this was the first thing that popped into mind, was to do a building series. I've been watching a lot of people do them lately, some people like the Curtis Paradise Show and other such channels like that who do these amazing lavish buildings, and then there's me who does a one story building that's not very good and doesn't really look too interesting. I would like to say that I don't have any of the expansions within this game at the moment. Maybe in the next episode I'll be able to incorporate at least one expansion, and hopefully create a new sort of house with those things. But at the time of recording this, I did not have any of them, so it was kind of interesting, to see what I could do with the standalone game and see if I could produce anything that I was remotely happy with. As you can see right here, I'm still working on the foundation and the outside of the house. From what I've seen, this is basically what a lot of the builders do on YouTube. They like to start with the foundations, work on the walls, and then sort of work their way up to the roof. I do not have any sort of roof building ability at the moment, so I decided to stick with the generic roof. Doesn't look quite as good as, some people make their roofs, but I don't have any clue on how to make a decent roof, so I had to stick with what I knew for now, which was doing this. Also, I haven't added any basements or anything. I'm still not sure how to do that, so it is basically just a one-story house for the time being. Having said that, I do learn some new techniques throughout this video. You may well see me throughout this video here. I'm trying to add some sort of floor, just like over to the left. I do eventually figure that one out, so it's kind of a learning process, this video, for me as well. And I thought that would be kind of a nice idea for the series, would be to learn as I go along and sort of improve my own abilities and building skills while doing a series on YouTube. I thought that'd be kind of fun and interesting to do. So just sort of now placing some windows that that I thought would look relatively good. This was meant to be a modern sort of house, not for a big family man, just for sort of like a bachelor sort of pad, really. For maybe he's a very successful businessman, but he's single and doesn't really like a lot of company, but has everything for the company just in case he gets the company to come over every now and then. Just sort of something that was interesting, I thought, and would maybe add a new level. So I decided I would go for that idea and just went with it, really. My interior skills aren't the best either. I've sort of not. I'm still learning how to do all these things. So the outside, I can do I can do okay, I would say. I can do an outside that looks like a house, but for the time being, they don't look professional. So, maybe episode 100 or so, we'll figure that one out. And, maybe I could hopefully get some people that know how to build in The Sims to come and help, come and show me the ways how to do this and everything. But for now, I have no idea how to do anything, so it's basically just me on my own trying to figure out how to build. Having said that, the outside, of course, is slightly better than the inside. The inside I wasn't really too happy about throughout this video, and still having the sort of standalone game, it does make it a little bit harder, I think. A lot of people do use the expansions to make the houses look better, but I don't have any of them, so have to bear with me, guys. This isn't the best of builds that you'll ever see on the internet, but I thought it was relatively okay for a first sort of build on this channel. Now, I'm still trying to learn the different sort of techniques for different houses and everything, so this one was meant to be a fairly modern sort of stylish house, so I thought the green, I don't know how you would explain that, like the fir fences worked quite well. It was sort of secluded and very hidden. I didn't want anyone to be like looking into the house from next door. Obviously they can still see inside, but with that little fence there, obviously it just makes the sort of swimming pool a little bit more enclosed, and obviously it's just a little something there to swim under and for a chair or two to sit on. Thought that's quite a nice idea. So still working on the outside at the moment. I like to instantly put a colour to the outside so I can get a feel for the theme that I'm going for the rest of the video. So I decided to go with just the plain white. I thought it was quite modern and sleek, and then just messing around with the trees at the front of the house. Originally I was thinking sort of a palm tree curve would look quite good, but then it's meant to be sunny and light for a modern house, and I thought loads of like big bushy trees at the front that towered up 10 or 15 feet would sort of ruin that look slightly. So I just went for a more stylish look, just a little like parking area for, you know, someone with a little bit of class. You might have a couple of houses in the front. Just putting some cars in to sort of get a feel for where they would go. I like to make the layout before I do anything, and then just changing my ideas slightly again. So I thought it wouldn't be like tarmac everywhere, so I just put in a row of flowers, and that sort of grew over time. You know, maybe it may have been a little bit too much colour looking back at it now, but at the time I think the colour sort of worked and definitely aided and gave a little bit of a better look overall for the house. So I'm just adding a little bit of trimming around the front of the house there, just to sort of add a little bit of class to it. I like to have some sort of like enclosed area, so having that, it sort of felt like a little lip on the edge. It was kind of nice, I thought, and did pose a few problems with having to intersect objects. Now, I've seen a lot of YouTubers doing this. They use the move object tool, and also just a quick note: these flowers don't stay there, but I sort of, looking back at it now, wish they did. They look quite smart and everything, and a little bit better than what I had at the end, I think. But anyway, with the intersect tool, a lot of these like big YouTubers use it. It just allows you to like move objects where you wouldn't normally be able to move them. They won't snap to the grid. I'm still trying to get used to this tool. I'm sort of not. I'm not quite familiar with all the tools that are in the game, and definitely don't know how to do a convincing build. So I think that would be quite interesting if I could get someone that knew how to build and was able to build some sort of convincing, really modern, stylish house. If they were able to sort of come and maybe help me out with a video, do some dual commentaries, or if I can get anybody from the audience to, you know, maybe do some collab videos, that'd be quite interesting, I think, to have like some interiors and everything done by different people. I think that'd be quite interesting to see what people were able to come up with. That was also another sort of idea that I wanted to try and incorporate, was to have you guys, I don't know how many people are going to be watching this, maybe 5, maybe 10, but to have people from the audience come and maybe help out or do some sort of series with me. So I would like to be able to do that. If anyone wanted to, I would really love that. I think it'd be quite interesting. Maybe if we both get the same foundation and then we have to build a house around that, I think that'd be quite fun to see, you know, the different ideas that people come up with within a foundation. I think that'd be kind of fun and interesting. So still 9 minutes in, and we're still working on the front of the house. I believe the end result for this was about an hour and a half to 2 hours work. So for most people, this would probably be a lot less, maybe um, like an hour, if that, maybe 40 minutes. But trying to get used to these tools and everything and figure out placements, it's kind of interesting for me. I did have quite a few problems also as I was going through this video, trying to figure out why different things weren't working. I had a lot of troubles with windows and doors. I think I've cleared it up at the latter stages of the video where I can't like intersect them or go through them twice, but often they didn't seem to appear. So that was kind of a problem that I've had to roll with and try and figure out as I go along. But it's quite interesting to see the thought process of how everything works. I think something like there, you can just see the window. It just doesn't actually show up as a window until I double click it. So maybe I need a little bit more time and some help by someone to understand exactly what's going on. For a while there, I was considering a glass door, and then a glass door in a bathroom doesn't really mix. You don't want anyone looking in. So this part of the video is now onto the interiors. We've finished for the main part, the outside. I believe I go back and do a few tweaks and add a few things at the end of the video, but the main part of this video will now be the interior. Trying to figure out placements of doors and cabinets and everything. This is what I mean about the intersect tool. So just there you can see that there's a couple of cabinets placed within each other, so you can get sort of a drawer that wouldn't normally be that length. You can now have it that length. I thought it was quite interesting. Tried to intersect another drawer with it to give it a sort of marble top, but it didn't look so good, so take it away. Less is more sometimes. I think with building, definitely less can always be more. It doesn't have to be cram-packed with everything. Often empty spaces don't look so good, so if there's an empty wall or an empty corner, just maybe add a flower or something. But I don't think it always needs some like lavish big piece of furniture in just to give it that extra piece. I think sometimes having less inside the house often adds more to it, so that's what we went with in the end. This is obviously the front of the house. I didn't want there to be a wide open area as you walk in. I wanted it to feel quite quaint and more homely than if it was like large, so that's what I went with. I went with a couple of cabinets on the side. Ideally there would be something for like keys or something, so a chain or a bowl, but a big piece of sculpture there. Obviously the big, like, he's got some money, this guy. He's not obviously poor or anything. He's got this lovely house definitely custom made for him, so I think he would appreciate the finer arts such as that. Also, so now, like, creating the inside of the house is quite a challenge for me. I've got these glass windows that never seem to show up, but I wanted some sort of partition between the kitchen and the living room. I never really go into a house with a plan of where things are going to go. When I'm not building the outside, I just sort of go for the outside look and then work the inside afterwards. I think for me, that's the best way to process things. I can't work from a set brief. Nothing ever seems to be in proportion for me, so that's what she said. But it always makes sense for me to do the outside and then work on a convincing inside, so that's what I was trying to do for this part of the video. And obviously the pots and the pans, just small details like that, I think really add to the whole look of the house. So this eventually turned into my living area. I wanted something that was quite open. I didn't want a closed off house. My house in real life is very closed off, and I think a dream house for me would definitely be very open plan, very light, so whites and maybe whites and greys and blacks. Obviously black isn't a light colour, but I like the contrast of white and black in a house. So I think dream house, very open, lots of windows and whites and greys. Just something that's more like this rather than lots of enclosed rooms with doors. I think that's a little bit Um, like it's a little bit closed off and antisocial. I think having the houses that are sort of open plan really works. Especially, I want a very modern house in the future. This didn't really work out like for now. So we get these lights as well in the main house, and really hate them. These yellow lights. So replacing them with some slightly more modern light fixtures in the roof, some sort of filament light bulbs and everything, just looks quite smart. Right here, I was trying to figure out if I could do any sort of exterior work, maybe a gym or anything, but there wasn't really enough room. So this is where I sort of decided in my head less would be more, and obviously had to stick with the modern theme. It was quite hard sometimes to stick with the modern theme, but it worked out in the end, definitely. Just a quick little kitchen diner, sort of a dining room area. Maybe he's not so sociable, but he does occasionally have guests over, this guy, so definitely needs an area to eat his dinner and still open plan, but not so formal that he's going to have lots of dinner dates over. I think that works quite well in his favour, just have a very open plan living room. Now, one thing I did not consider throughout this video was that he would maybe need a second bathroom. The only bathroom in the house is in his room, so definitely showing that he is very lonely, very secluded. Someone you don't necessarily want them going into your bedroom when they go to use the facilities. So probably needed to add a second bathroom, or to have the bathroom in the main house, but there wasn't really enough room in the end, so just left it with that one room. That little feature there is the guitar. That's going to be something that I include in every build that I do. There has to be a guitar or a guitar room. I'm not really too sure why, but guitars are part of my life. That's like the main part of my life is music and music production, writing songs and everything. So I wanted to include that in every Sims build that I do. So there's going to be either a guitar in the house or some sort of location for them to do some music recording. I do have another house that I have designed that has a sort of stage area. However, I did not record the whole build of the interior, so I didn't decide to upload that one in the end as my first episode. I thought this house would very much be the best for the first episode. Just here in the kitchen, doing a little bit of recolouring on everything now, trying to get the colours that I wanted for the entire house. So a very stone sort of kitchen. I like the idea of having very stone walls in the kitchen, maybe a little bit colder. I like the cold house feel. It's very odd to like the feeling of a cold house, but I think in a modern house, it doesn't have to be so heated and warm. I think the light and the sort of white area just really adds to the feel of a house. So definitely thought I would go for a sort of a very cold feel to the house. That's sort of what modern is, I think. It's very cold and like it doesn't really have a lot of heat, but definitely the cold doesn't mean it's a bad house. I like a cold house now and again. So the video is just about to wrap up in a second, guys. You will just see now all the pictures on screen that I took of the house. So going around the exterior first, I believe, or maybe the interior first. So as you can see, some of the indoor spaces. I'm not too sure how to take indoor screenshots as of yet. I still need to work on that, but you can see all the indoors now. This was the main sort of entranceway and the dining room. Very light. You can already tell that the house is very light and open. Definitely not happy with the end result of those couches. They're sort of meant to be a lot darker, a sort of a grey black, but that didn't work out in the end. But still works. I'm still fine with it. And onto the outside. The outside is definitely one of my favourite pieces of this entire house. It's very light and it's very open. It really sets the tone for the whole house. It's just light and open and very modern. I think the idea of modern architecture really appeals to me, so that's really what I wanted to incorporate into my house. Just coming around the front now, you see his sort of garageway or garage, sorry, and his couple of cars that are in the front has very modern and just a big double door at the front. Obviously, guys, my commentary is not the best. Please do not, or please do, sorry, leave some criticism. Strange, I like to hear the criticism, constructive criticism, of course, but anything that helps, maybe some ideas, some tips, and some tricks. I love doing dual commentaries that are natural. It's a lot easier for me to talk to somebody than talk to myself. So I hope you enjoyed the video, guys, and I will see you in the next one. Have a nice day, guys. Bye for now.